So y'all know that debt ceiling legislation that I was talking about, the one that affects some of the people who receive food stamps, going to increase their work requirements. Well, in addition to that, this legislation also cut funding for social service programs.
Student debt payments that are going to start up again.
It also cut funding for the IRS. So now the wealthy are able to get away with not paying their fair share of taxes once again. And in fact, the bill repeals taxes for the very wealthy.
In addition to not repealing those high-income tax cuts, the bill also cuts a large amount of funding from the IRS. And the IRS is specifically its functions to enforce the basic tax laws already on the books as they relate to the very wealthy. We have a very big situation in this country where hundreds of billions of dollars of owed taxes go unpaid by the richest Americans. That funding was supposed to be to do that kind of crackdown. Now it has been moved.
It also covers the fake Democrat Joe Manchin. He's called a conservative Democrat, but I feel like he's a fake Democrat. He owns a coal company in West Virginia. He has been working on this frack gas Mountain Valley pipeline, essentially a gas pipeline. So he was able to get legislation passed so that he can get this gas pipeline built quicker. Affects the National Environmental Policy Act, which is what our environment, our water, our air, that rolls back different regulations and restrictions on that act, and it allows his gas pipeline construction to be expedited. The heartbreaking, disturbing point is the president did not have to sign this legislation. There is a 14th Amendment clause.
To remember that we didn't have to be at this point. The Constitution makes pretty clear that the U.S. government is empowered above statutes, if you will, to deal with the debt and make sure it does not default on its debt. Progressive lawmakers had asked the Biden administration to use this power to avert this entire manufactured crisis. And almost as soon as that proposal was floated by those lawmakers, the Biden White House said no, they're not even going to pursue it. And again, I think you put that together with the fact that they didn't try to pass a clean debt ceiling bill during the lame duck session when Democrats controlled the Congress. And what you see is a picture of a party that wanted this outcome.
The president can do that on his own. But instead, they allowed all these regulations to be pulled back. They allowed the wealthy once again to get another tax break. But this is the other part that blows me away. Chuck Schumer, who is supposed to be a phenomenal Democrat, everybody looks up to him, has received over $200,000 according to climate activists from these fracking industries that work with Joe Manchin.
Activists noted Senator Schumer received over $280,000 in donations this election cycle from NextEra Energy, a major stakeholder in the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which is also a top donor to Senator Joe Manchin.
I feel like they were all in cahoots. If the president didn't have to sign it, he knew that it would hurt different social programs and require additional work requirements on those who receive food stamps. Why would he sign that? He didn't have to do that.
In floor speeches on the floor of the Senate has made clear that he wants to work with Republicans to cut spending, cut funding for social programs. So I think we have to step back and realize this is a moment of honesty.
It's just a crock of bull crap. The American people, the working class, didn't get any benefits.
The working class of this country was deeply harmed by this bill.
We have to start voting for the person. We cannot continue to just vote for people just because they're Democrats, because there's good and bad on both sides. Just pay attention, you guys. I'm going to bring you the news when I can. It's debt ceiling.
The debt ceiling will fast-track the Mountain Valley Pipeline, poisoning every poor community along its path and dumping millions of pounds of carbon, accelerating the crisis.
Deal was what some climate activists are calling the dirty deal, and it definitely was dirty. So y'all start paying attention.